This is one of those typical political situations, isn't it? Where it's a small issue. Actually, in the great scheme of things, this is small fry. But it's just the fact there has been no clarity from anybody.
You're right. It is often these kind of slightly obscure issues which cause politicians big problems. It's, and Angela Rayner is certainly not the first to realise that actually the interrogation of aspects of your private affairs is actually very difficult to deal with, because for any politician, it cuts you to the quick when you're talking about issues related to your personal affairs, your personal finances, your family life, and all the rest of it. So it's very difficult to deal with. Now this has been trundling along as a story for several weeks. There's a new biography of Angela Rayner, which apparently has uncovered this allegation that she wasn't resident in the property that she said she was resident in for electoral purposes. And that's what the police, Greater Manchester Police, have said yesterday that they're going to investigate. Now, it bears saying that Angela Rayner is strenuously denying that she's done anything wrong. And she said, obviously, last night, which is quite a bombshell, really, that she'll quit if she is found guilty. No, I think what tends to happen in these situations is that your colleagues look at this situation and start to think, is there something in this? If there is, I'm going to start to sort of delicately kind of inch away from you and leave you kind of slightly on your own. That isn't happening with Angela Rayner. Keir Starmer has been, I think, pretty straightforward in backing up his deputy all the way, as have other members of the shadow cabinet and other MPs I've spoken to, Labour MPs as well, who like Angela Rayner and think that whether anybody else likes Angela Rayner or not, she's a pretty straight shooter. And she's pretty effective as an opposition politician. And, for that reason, they think that a lot of this is a cooked-up smear campaign against her, and it's politically motivated. That's the kind of the mood, I think, within the Labour tribe, which is that, I've looked this morning to try and find figures for the number of people prosecuted for similar offences. Now, I've only done it for 10 minutes on the internet, so I stand to be corrected, but I can't find very much at all. So whether anything actually ever happens with this, she's ever convicted, or charges are even ever brought, I think is a moot point. But in politics, it's all about perception, and the Conservatives are fairly gleeful this morning that they can go around saying that the deputy leader of the Labour Party is under police investigation. I think that's what this is about, really.
Kevin, as you've said, the Labour Party have come out in support, as has Sir Keir Starmer. But how do you think this is going down behind closed doors? Because Angela Rayner is Sir Keir Starmer's right-hand woman. She was meant to be front and centre in this general election campaign. They must be quite concerned that this is a story that just isn't going away.
It isn't. In a sense, it's high-stakes stuff because, of course, once the police announce they're going to investigate you, one of two things happens. Either they bring charges or they don't bring charges. And if they bring charges, it's bad news for Angela Rayner. But if they don't, I would never bet on these situations, but it would strike me that the balance of evidence would suggest these things are fairly difficult to prove. That if charges are not brought, I think Angela Rayner can hold her head up high, and I think the Conservatives will lower a big apology, because a lot of public money will have been wasted for nothing.
Well, yes, except that brings in my next point to a sense. She could have killed this straight away. Does it raise questions about her in public life, because she refused to kill this straight away? She could have released the tax advice she got, redacted any personal stuff about the kids or whatever that she's raised that could be in there, and this would have gone away. If she's nothing to hide, it would have gone away. And it hasn't. She hasn't done that. So, she's wasted the public money, hasn't she?
It's one of these kind of chewing gum on the bottom of your shoe kind of issues, really, that it's just very persistent. And, of course, this story has gained kind of a lot of terminal velocity, if you like, over the last couple of weeks, because it's Easter and it's pretty quiet in terms of domestic political stuff. But it's very difficult to prove a negative. And in a sense, if people have got allegations that Angela Rayner has done something wrong, take them to the authorities. That's the place where and ultimately now this is what's happening. It's not in a sense up to her to prove her innocence against charges which may be politically motivated. And it's, as I say, it's very difficult when these issues are about you personally, it doesn't matter what party badge you've got on. You know, I do have some sympathy for anybody in politics in these situations, because ultimately politics does not prosper when we fight in the gutter, and I'm afraid that's what's going on here. You know, the tenor of the Conservative Party's response to the police, and the announcement of the police investigation yesterday, I think was fairly unwise. That they seem to be fairly gleeful about this, which I think kind of shows what the motivation here is.
OK, Kevin Meagher, good to see you this morning. Thank you very much indeed.
I mean,